Hey everyone, happy Monday. Let's get ready for school. Okay, so first of all, my first Get Ready With Me song of this morning is Dandelion. And I don't know how I feel about that. The first song is Dandelion by Drake Bell. This song, if y'all have never heard it, it's so good, but it's one of those songs that like literally rip your heart out. And if y'all are not into that, then I don't recommend it. But like me, sometimes you just need those like rip your heart out songs. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's very rip your heart out. So, but like I said, good morning, happy Monday. I am convinced that I did put my camera way too low yesterday, or not yesterday, Friday when I filmed my Get Ready With Me. So, forgive me for that. But hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a decent weekend. I was doing a lot of homework and stuff, so it was okay. Oh my gosh. It was okay. Okay, hopefully that's good. So yeah, it was okay. But you know, I would much rather have not had to do that this weekend, cuz I feel like I don't feel refreshed if I spend my weekend doing homework. That's why I try to get it all done on Friday. But it was just too much for me to do all on Friday, and it didn't work out that way. But that's okay. So YouTube added a 3-minute feature on YouTube Shorts, which is very interesting because now a lot of these little like videos I kind of want to film or things I wanted to put in like Get Ready With Me, I might just turn into YouTube Shorts because I might have to make a whole topic out of it if I bring it into my Get Ready With Me. I'm not sure yet. And so, where was I going with this? Okay. So, like I said, there's videos that I want to make, and I don't know if I'm going to make them, like, put the topics in a Get Ready With Me, or if I'm going to make them, like, a YouTube short. See, because I'm not convinced that 3 minutes is enough for me to talk, considering the fact that it's almost been 3 minutes now, and I'm nowhere near done, like, either with my makeup or talking. So, you know what I mean? I'm not convinced that 3 minutes is enough for me to yap my heart out, but it's okay. We will just stick to the 3 minutes that they give me. I'll just stick to the Get Ready With Me as I do because I yap so much in these. Anyway, so like I was talking about in the last Get Ready With Me, like in my last Get Ready With Me, I was like kind of finishing topicing about the Sarah Fraser podcast. Again, I don't know if y'all can hear the music in the background anymore. I did turn it down a little bit so I didn't wake up any of my parents, but now they're both kind of up, so I could turn it back up, but it's fine. But yeah, so the Sarah Fraser podcast, I think I was kind of rushing towards the end of that, so I'm going to kind of recap a little bit of what I was trying to say at the end. So basically, the end of the podcast, I haven't actually seen the end yet. I need to. I kind of got taken aback by what was said and just took a minute to process it and didn't finish it at the end. So, like the real end, I watched like up until that part, but I didn't see like the real ending. But somehow they get back into the topic of Quiet on Set, which is not a good topic. Not that I'm saying it's not a good topic, but it's not a good way to, like, structure your interviews if you bounce around a lot. So if you start off in the beginning and you go through all the depressing questions you want to ask, then you could be like, okay, and on a lighter topic, and back into a topic that people actually want to talk about, rather than doing like a weird sandwich thing, which some people tend to do, where it's like you put a happier question and then you mix in like a depressing question. It's weird like that. Like that, the person doesn't really know what to do, and I don't really like it because if people are uncomfortable with certain situations, like, you know, or don't want to keep reliving something, chances are if you feel comfortable asking those types of questions, you should ask them like when you first start the interview. That's just, I guess, in this particular case, it's common decency. But like, I don't really think that's a thing that people like think about, because a lot of interviewers have actually done that before, where they've like just like there was one interviewer, and I think I talked about it in the last Get Ready With Me I did, but I'll just briefly recap kind of what he did. He was like, it was bad. He was not a good interviewer. I want to believe that was not his first day, because I don't think they would have had him doing what he did on his first day. But he felt like a newbie. Like, it didn't look like he knew what he was doing, because the interview it didn't flow. It was like the weirdest interview, because it didn't have a flow. It was just like, he was asking a question about music, he was asking a question about Quiet on Set, he was asking a question about touring, he was asking a question about the 2021 case, he was asking a question about Quiet on Set, he was asking a question about touring. It was like, what the heck? There was no flow or structure whatsoever in that interview, and I think you could kind of tell that neither, like, I don't think Drake really knew what to do with that. And I don't think the viewer knew what to do with that either. At least I'm speaking from experience. I didn't know what to do with that. I was like, well, what the heck do I do with this? But, that was a little low. It's okay. So, I'm not gonna say that Sarah Fraser was like that guy, because she wasn't. It was just, it didn't feel the greatest, but it was okay. She did, I don't know. But anyway, like I said, it didn't go very well because the way that she structured it, but it was okay. And like, every other part of the interview was fine up until this particular point, because they're talking about it, and then talking about like why he doesn't like talking about Quiet on Set. And I think they had both two different definitions of Quiet on Set. And I think that's possibly where there was a little bit of miscommunication, and why Sarah asked the particular question that she did. Because I think in Sarah's mind, she was blocking out the whole R word, SA, like that kind of stuff. I think she was blocking out that from the documentary, and not taking like Drake's story as part of the documentary. When I say that, I mean like, she's not talking about why don't you like talking about your trauma. She's asking, why don't you like talking about the impact or something like that, I think. Now, obviously, I could be wrong, and Sarah could just be talking about that. But it's like, people don't typically think that way. It's not really a common way to think, so I highly doubt that she was thinking like that. Because the question she asked is, well, what part don't you like talking about it? Or why, yeah, like, what part don't you like talking about it? And again, in my mind, I'm thinking she's thinking about more so like the impact of it. Because like, in a lot of people's minds that are not the people that actually went through the trauma or whatever, Quiet on Set had a huge impact. Quiet on Set was amazing. Quiet on Set brought up so many good conversations. So it's like, why wouldn't you want to talk about that? So like, why wouldn't you want to talk about that? Why wouldn't you want to talk about an amazing impact that this documentary made? But most people don't see it like that, because it's their own trauma, not, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to see it that way because it's their own trauma. And obviously they might be like, oh yeah, it was interesting, like it was kind of good, it was okay, but that's them reliving their trauma. So I get people not wanting to talk about it, or like discuss it, because people often have very different definitions of what, like, as you can see in this particular case, I think Sarah and Drake both had different definitions of what the documentary meant. And that's why it just didn't work out in that particular case. Because Sarah saw it as, a big opportunity, or like, not a big opportunity, but, like, something that made a huge impact and had this like big, had this big impact. Whereas Drake probably just saw it as reliving his trauma in a dark moment. And that's where we're gonna have some issues, you know what I mean? But like I said, so Sarah asked, like, oh, what don't you like talking about it? Like, what part don't you like talking about in response to, the documentary? And like I said in my last interview, he says, oh, this, like, incredulous look on his face, and he goes, oh, probably the R word. Again, I'm not gonna say the actual R word, so if y'all know what R word I'm talking about, good. If you don't know, go watch the interview, I guess. I don't really know what to tell you. I'm not gonna say the R word because I don't feel comfortable saying it on here, and I don't think I can. I don't want to, like, get myself, like, I'm not demonetized. I'm not monetized, but at least I don't know what you can and can't say on YouTube, but whatever. I'm censoring myself for this video. So, like I said, like, oh, probably the R word. And you can tell that Sarah was not expecting that, like, at all. And you can tell just because, like, she looked pretty uncomfortable. And she kind of did, like, this awkward laugh thing. Which, I mean, I get it. I would have done an awkward laugh, too. I wasn't really expecting it either as a viewer. So, I could only imagine someone actually filming this and being like, oh, he just went there. Like, I don't think anyone expected him to go there. I, least of all. Because I don't think, and as many people were mentioning on, like, comments, I don't think he's ever used the R word to describe what happened to him. Which, like, it is the R word, but I don't think he's ever used the R word before. Or at least not, like, said the R word. I think he's written it out before or something. But I don't think he's ever actually said it. Which, as many know, are two completely different things. Saying it and writing it are two completely different things. But like I said, and again, Sarah kind of gives this look of, like, uncomfortableness. And it's like, I get it. Like, I get what she was trying to do. I think I can see past the question. Because the initial response is like, well, why would you ask that? That's a dumb question. But then I think if there's a miscommunication or two different opinions on something, then there's going to be some kind of, like, seeing things differently. Like I said, I think Sarah sees it as this, like, big documentary that had, like, a huge impact and opened doors and conversations, whereas Drake just sees it as a reliving of his trauma constantly. Because if people constantly ask questions about Quiet on Set, because that's what he said in the interview as well. He was saying, okay, oh, probably the R word, and then he's like, probably the horrible stuff that happened to me as a kid, and then, like, and the fact that every time I talk about it, it replays in my mind. And so it's like, okay, then you start to think, okay, that made sense. Someone doesn't want to constantly be reliving their trauma, and, like, you shouldn't have to defend that to somebody. Okay, y'all, I gotta hurry because I actually really do have to go. So I'm just gonna do a quick highlighter, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. So, with a new topic. I don't think I'll continue on this one. Or maybe I'll wrap it up and then we'll continue. And here's the final product. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Have a blessed day. Jesus loves you. I love you. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.